Founded in 1999 by Jason Burks, Retrospec Films is Oklahoma's largest turnkey production company of its kind. With over 2 decades of experience, a full-time team of over 20 talented individuals, a 12,000 square foot studio to create in, and thousands of successfully completed projects in both entertainment and advertising. You're in the right place if you like hearing some good old filmmaking stories. On this podcast, we will discuss the pursuit of creating things and the problems we solve by digging up projects from across the last 20 years and giving you a glimpse behind the scenes where the magic happens. You're listening to Retrospec Films from the Archives.
Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on Retrospec from the Archives. This is our in-house podcast where we talk about creating things and the problems we solve in that process. Started this podcast a year ago, and it's been really exciting, just kind of reflecting upon lots of really fun old things that we did, and here recently some newer projects as well. But many times we're moving so fast and we're cooking through projects and they go out to the world and we're working on the next one and we never get a chance to just breathe and say how much we enjoy the stuff we do. So that's what we're doing today. So with me, I have Brandoni Forbay.
Hello.
All the way from
Broken Arrow, Oklahoma.
That's a long ways.
It is.
And then we have Adam Vigil.
Yep.
Vigel.
That's exactly how you pronounce it.
Hill. Vigilante.
The Vigilantes.
How do you like
The
it said?
Vigilante. It's V-Hill.
We've talked about this. You're still saying it like that?
Go to Colorado. They'll kill you if you don't say that right. I come from all the way from Tulsa, Oklahoma. So
that's a long ways. But do you still live in BA, right?
no, I moved
When?
a couple months
We just had
ago.
this conversation with Tackett.
Yeah,
You moved.
I did. Yeah,
Is that because me and Taylor are over there now?
yeah.
It was a little weird.
No, I'm just kidding.
Unbelievable.
It was already in the works.
Go ahead and cut. I don't want to do this anymore. All right, so we are going to talk about a project for a company called Rollo, which is, Forbes, do you know the story of how they even found us? I vaguely heard it.
I'm pretty sure Nathan was the one that made initial contact, and I believe it was through it was through Production Hub, and
Yeah.
it was our profile, but our reel that was posted 8 years
A long
ago,
time
like
ago.
not anything recent.
Kevin told me that he watched the It's Just Brunch trailer
Whoa.
Okay,
on our website
that makes sense because it's the comedy aspect and all this
thought,
stuff.
that's funny.
Oh yeah.
And so it's nice to know that speculative project that I funded $50,000 into 10 years ago finally
It's coming back.
had some value.
Starting to
That's
pay off.
hilarious.
So thank you, Kevin, for enjoying that. No, so Rollo is a unique company that they have printers. That's their first thing. They're really cool printers, simple little printers that make shipping labels easier, which I will say is anything that has to do with the printer makes me really upset. So when I first watched his product and how it worked, I was like, hey, I'd be a customer. No problem. You got me.
Yeah.
But now they've been venturing into delivery. So now they're trying to get the full system solution down because FedEx and UPS and all those other guys aren't.
Amazon.
And they're just not always dependable. So I respect their pursuit of excellence. And our little place in that process has been helping them with some of the marketing and specifically some videos and films and stuff that is in digital. So the first project, why don't we start and talk about that? Forbes, why don't you kind of take it over? Because I feel like I was sort of brought in late on that one.
Yeah, it was a script. This was the initial contact, and he basically sent an email to Nathan and was like, "Here's a script. We want to make it. Can you help us? How much? When can you do it?" And it was called Purple Couch, and it basically is this concept where you have your lead talent is taking packages from their car and they're at a UPS station, and it's just to kind of showcase like getting all your boxes out. Like it's a pain in the butt. You're trying to open door, close everything, and you've got these packages. They trip and fall, the packages go everywhere, and it's just like, oh, this is so frustrating. And while they're in this moment, a scene builds around them of basically their living room, and it's all these Rollo employees that are pulling up in a van and putting this stuff together and showcasing like, no, like you can do all of this from your home. You print the label, somebody comes and picks it up. You don't have to go anywhere. And so, a lot of times we get creative that's it's good creative and, it's fun to shoot, but it's not necessarily like comical or goofy. And this was one that was like, okay, this will be fun. Like we haven't done anything like this in a while. And so we got on a phone call with them, chatted through everything and just kind of started working on it. And from that point, it was like, okay, they want a wall. So we have to build a wall, have to put it on wheels. Are we going to film at a UPS? Are we going to film in a studio, outside, inside, casting? And so that's just kind of where it took off from there.
Damn it! What on earth are you guys? Okay. This looks just like my living room. I have that same beer mug. Is that my phone? How did you... Oh. Oh.
Here for your poster pickup. Have a good day.
Yeah. This is actually my stuff, right? This is my furniture? Even the door? Did you guys break into my house?
Adam, at what point, let's see, in this project, you probably just kind of helped on crew a little bit, right?
Yeah. On that specific shoot, the first one we did with the rolling sets, the purple couch is what we call the concept. But yeah, I was on set for that, helping to shoot AC a little bit, and then miscellaneous on-set stuff.
And that was actually one of the first shoots that we used the V-Raptor on.
Yeah, that was the test project.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it was like, if we're going to use this 8K camera on another huge project, I'd like to at least use it and make sure it functions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember, so I guess getting towards the shoot, I will say on the pre-pro side of that one, I was completely checked out, but you guys did a great job. I remember Hightower kept talking about building a wall, and he was so excited. And I don't remember if I was traveling a lot. Something was going on in which I was disconnected. Maybe I was on another shoot, but I was like, hey, you guys just do it. Like, I don't know. I don't care. I trust you. But then I remember coming back and there being a gigantic, massive wall with a door in it. That was part of the creative. Yeah,
that was it.
It looked good.
Yeah, it did look good. But I remember on the day of, it was this, like, we had built the wall. Hightower and Garber built it, and it was on wheels and it was great, but we had yet to like take it out of the studio. Yeah. And like our studio has 2 bay doors. One of them is like a lift height for like a big rig, and the other one is just a ramp. And so it was like 8 people on it, like pushing it down, making sure that it went out. And then from that point, we were just basically fighting the sun all day.
That will be a historic shoot for me in fighting the sun.
Because it had to be outside. Our building is brick, and so we were able in post to add a logo for UPS, because UPS was going to charge us $1,200 an hour to film outside one of their locations. Right. And could only be on the weekend. And so we're like, let's do it outside of our studio. Yeah. We're here. We have AC inside because it was
middle of the summer,
July.
Hottest part of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say it's rare. It's funny when people talk about the sun and the clouds. There's all these like generic like things that people think are always true. Like, oh, it's clouds. You love the clouds. Or, oh, the clouds are out. You hate the clouds. And I'm like, no, like clouds are good when you want clouds, and the sun is good when you want the sun. Now, what is real is that the sun moves. Everybody knows this. This is the struggle of my entire career. The sun starts in one part of the sky, it comes up, travels all the way across, and it ends in the other part of the sky. You guys knew this, right?
It brings back some memories.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Some various little thoughts. This one was interesting because we had the clouds ironically out, I believe, on day 1.
Yes.
And they just stayed out, which was very good because we were shooting this singular spot that took all day to shoot. And when you're cutting around a 30-second spot, especially when the actions are linear, your brain does not want the sun to rise and cast shadows in totally different directions throughout the spot. The clouds help diffuse that and hide that. So it was like rock on. We got lucky. Had to shoot outside.
Perfect conditions for that.
Yeah. Clouds were out. Bam. I want to put a little light here or there. I can keep it consistent. Good. We get to day 2.
And I should say this, it was a 1-day shoot with one talent.
Yeah.
And they didn't know if they wanted male or female. So when we sent them the selects, they fell in love with a guy and a girl.
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, can we just, instead of doing one, can we do both of them?
Right.
And I was like, that's fine, but it needs to be, we can't do it all in one day.
Right.
And so we did Chris on day 1,
Yeah.
which was perfect.
Yeah.
No issues. Sun was great. Clouds are great.
Yeah.
And then we did Kia on day 2, and that was a Friday, and it was not.
It was bad news.
It started with the rain that night.
That's
too.
right. It rained the night before, so the
before.
concrete was wet.
I was out there pointing 2Ks.
Yeah, burning up. I think
Burning
we
the
have
concrete.
some behind the scenes footage of us with all of these lights just shining on the area.
Stupid puddle.
Watching this puddle kind of move outward, and okay, now we have to reposition the lights and the heaters and the fans and try and
man.
just
it was awful.
So the sun comes up. Sun is in the clouds, and then it's in the clouds till I think it was like 11, and then it just came out 100%. Completely. I mean, and I've been dabbling with the sun for 20 years now as a DP. And I'm like, this is the worst scenario that I've ever dealt with ever, because half the spot's been shot in perfect clouds, was not prepared to diffuse an entire set that was 35 foot wide and 20 foot deep with multiple actors. You know, what we have 6, 7, 8 actors.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I'm sitting there like on the phone, like calling all my G&E friends, and I'm like, anybody have like a 30 by 30 silk? Like, I know that we don't even hardly have those in Oklahoma, but who has a 30 by 30 silk? Well, I don't find one. So we just do this makeshift, like, oh my gosh, it was hideous.
It worked.
It was hideous.
it was like barely a millimeter out into
Yeah.
the frame. If it was any more this way, it would show.
Yeah.
And if it was any more the other way, it would show.
And part of us using that camera was 8K VistaVision, so it was full frame, and
Yeah.
then we were shooting on an 18 mil. So I mean, your frame was
Extremely
just,
massive.
because the set was big.
But it was
and
what we needed.
yeah, but I just remember like we're like, it's too wide now because
Yeah.
we can't put stands in frame, and
So we did it, and we shot it.
it was great.
And it turned out really good. I mean, it's a really funny spot. It's like clever. I love the cutting style. I love, just like the fast nature of it. We had 2 versions, which was awesome. Adam, I don't remember. Did you color grade that one?
I did some of the
that-
spec colors to kind of match the couches to the
brand?
the branding and all that stuff, but then handed it off to somebody else. At some
Yeah.
point.
I mean, we did good enough to where they asked us to do more stuff.
Yeah.
So
So next, we did a handful of social projects. I know nothing about this plunger thing except for I saw the van and almost had a heart attack because it had what looked like hail damage all over the side of it. Then I found out that was just plungers.
It was intentional damage.
It was
man.
intentional.
What was the story on this plunger project?
So for the creative for the purple couch was when this guy or girl gets frustrated, drops the packages, this branded Rollo van like peels around the corner, pulls up, all these people come out and start unloading their living room. So for that to happen, we needed a Rollo van. And so they were looking for an electric van because they're in Vegas and they're trying to be as eco-friendly as possible, which is awesome. And so right now it's really hard to find new vehicles at all, but especially electric. And so they found one in Dallas. We happened to be in Dallas filming, so we brought it up. They got it wrapped. So it's this huge Ford E-Transit van that's wrapped in a purple thing and says Rollo on the side. And so now that's at our studio, because we filmed here in Tulsa, and they're like, eventually we'll get it out to Vegas, but we may have you do some social stuff. Now we're like, okay, let's do some things with a TikToker. And I think it was a Slack, and it just said, the title was like Plunger TikTok. And Adam, what's the guy's name?
So there's this TikToker, his name is Chris Ivan, and he is known for going up to brands like Walmart or anything that has a big front sign, building wise, Wells Fargo, like anything, and throwing plungers on their sign and seeing if he can get these plungers to stick.
Like a battle axe.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like a tomahawk throw, like end over end stick. And that's his thing. His TikTok is full of going to the big Apple stores in I think Times Square and all that stuff, And which is kind of interesting because the brand gets advertising if he can like work a deal with them. It's kind of an interesting thing, but he's just made his career doing that. So Rollo found him and they're like, this is the guy we need. So they brought him to Tulsa and we started the adventure of trying to do this. I think what he said at the time was his most ambitious thing was a moving vehicle downtown in traffic. And he's throwing it at the side of this big purple wrapped Rollo van, and Brandon and I went to shoot it. Our friend Cole was driving it in downtown Tulsa traffic.
You all know Cole.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And it was just this really silly but ambitious viral marketing thing that we put together. We shot it all in a morning. I think at the time he said it was, or I saw him make a video later on, like the top 10 most difficult things. That was number one
you sent that to
for
me.
him.
Yep.
And so it was really kind of interesting because Cole's driving around. In order to shoot downtown, we have to have police escorts just for safety.
Yeah. We had permits, police.
Everything had to be by the book, which
Yes.
was, Brandon can probably talk about just the producing logistics of that. What all did you have to do to put that together?
Yeah, it was the most, like, a lot of times when we hire off-duty officers, it's for complete street shutdowns, or like, we've done a thing for Hard Rock where we lit a street on fire as like trucks, tires were supposed to be peeling out. So you have fire department and everything. But this was the weirdest one. I had to be like, yeah, we have a van driving and we're going to be throwing plungers at it. I'm sorry. Can you come? Like this, I know this is weird. And so we hired officers. The Tulsa PD are awesome and they loved it. They thought it was hilarious and we're enjoying every minute of it, but they're helping us control traffic and stopping and telling us to go. And so they were great and it made it totally possible. But I mean, it was fun. And then actually getting to see him land the plunger hits.
When he finally hit it, it was about 2.5 hours before he hit the first one.
Oh my Lord.
So imagine this was the drama of the day. We're sitting at this square in downtown Tulsa where there's sort of a circle drive. Cole is doing lap after lap, waiting for traffic to clear, waiting for lights to turn green, waiting for the officers to come. So it's really time consuming. Chris will throw one plunger, maybe miss it, and then we have to reset.
Like a 3-minute
10
reset.
minutes if traffic allows. Okay, another chance, throw it. No, doesn't work. Another 5 minutes around. Doing that for 2.5 hours. He finally, and this whole time he's missing it, but then he's adjusting his style, getting his distances down and all that stuff. And finally hits one. And we all just like, it's like the most exciting. Like we can all go home or like try a different location, but it got pretty dramatic and pretty tense toward the end when we're like, is he going to hit this? And Chris was like, guys, I never had this big of an issue trying to nail one, but we finally got one, went to another location, got a few more there, and it turned out really good.
Yeah.
We're gonna be hitting the Rollo van at different speeds to see what the maximum speed is that I can hit a moving van with a plunger with. Oh my God, why? This is why we chose a moving vehicle, because it's a hard challenge. There we go, got it. 5 miles an hour complete. Oh my gosh, that was it. Oh, there we go, got it. Nailed that one, perfect. 15 at 15. I knocked my own off. We're right there, we're gonna get it. Oh my gosh, that was it. That was it. Yes, yes. 15 miles an hour, we did it. Oh my gosh. 15 miles an hour. I love that plungers have changed my life of all things.
Oh man. All right. So that project's then led us to the next project, which is the one we're still in the middle of, the parkour project. And for this one, I need to swap the two of you out.
That's fair. Bye.
Oh,
Whoa.
is Jason supposed to be here?
Think so.
All
You
right.
gotta snap him in.
Yeah. Ready? 3, 2,
1. You're not.
You're supposed to be Jason.
Yeah.
Dude, I was
Let's-
on lunch.
let's
What
do
are
it.
you
Next,
guys-
next one.
1, 2, 3. Oh,
There he is. We
He's
got him.
back.
Hey
Cool.
guys,
Nice.
sorry. Had to talk to a land surveyor.
Oh,
Nice.
that sounds fun.
All my dreams.
Yep.
All right, so I think we're talking about Rollo parkour now. And let's see. Where should we even start? I feel like this one's sort of interesting because it all goes back to Hightower breaking his arm. No, I'm kidding.
Oh man. Oh, no.
No, but this was on the calendar. They hit us up and said they wanted to do this parkour creative, which was awesome. It was this idea of how can we show that the guys at Rollo are athletic, energetic, they're expedient, they like to get stuff done. So it's sort of like a movie action trailer where you've got, van peeling out, dudes running, carrying their packages, going at all lengths to make sure that the packages get delivered on time. Unique scenario in that, liability is a thing. So I was excited because these are things that I take a lot of pride in filming, things that are difficult, things like rock climbing or snowboarding or mountaineering, just stuff that's like a little risky. Parkour is unique in that parkour generally is illegal, but we'll just stay away from that. It's not illegal. It's just you can't trespass. It's frowned upon sometimes from property owners.
What are they going to do? Chase them across the building? Stop them?
Right. I know. So the question was, who would be these athletes? How would we make sure that we do this in the safest manner? We don't want people injured on things that we're producing. So Brandon initially reached out and just started hunting down and talking to people in the parkour circuit. I was pretty avid that I wanted to make sure that we were hiring athletes and doing stunts in their cities at which they felt comfortable with and knew they could do, because I didn't want anybody to get injured. And so it turned out, after all the research was put out, that Denver, Colorado was the right place. And we found athletes there and instructed, had phone calls, got them all figured out. And then we flew to Denver, the three of us, to film them doing things. Who would like to describe that day? We can start with you, Mark.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. Very guerrilla warfare type, like run and gun. We had 3 cameras with us in bags, and just tried not to draw attention. Same day, Monday, same thing. Early morning shoot, pack up and fly home. It was a very fast turnaround. A lot of fun. Got a lot of cool stuff out of it.
There was some unusual things. Maybe Garber, you could speak to it. Obviously, many times we're working with grip trucks and crews and lights and a ton of stuff.
Oh yeah, I was literally thinking that. I mean, this was, I don't even know if we checked one bag, I think.
Yeah, no
lights.
lights.
With tripod.
Which normally we're checking 6 bags.
Yeah.
2 each person, so traveling light is like a huge plus. And then just being able to get there, pull everything out of the vehicle, and then essentially have everything that you need on person while you're running around Denver, because it was a very fast-paced, shoot, and there really wasn't time to go back and get stuff out of the car. You just kind of had to have everything with you. So that was just super refreshing, knowing that everything was right there.
The cinematography style in the shoot was interesting too, because really what you're leaning all of your hope and energy on is the stunts that are being pulled off by the athletes, not some kind of fantastic lighting or fantastic cinematography. At the same time, we like great lighting. We like good cinematography, So it kind of was optimal in that we were farther north, so the sun was a little bit lower in the sky. Later in the year, so the sun stayed lower in the sky. It was a sunny day, which was huge. It really helped with just the way everything looked. And I felt like we let the athletes do what they do, and then we all tried to be, because we all had cameras at different times. I mean, you were shooting a camera, you shot a lot of the slow-mo, we had GoPro going, we had drone going, I was chasing with a gimbal.
He had a GoPro in his mouth.
Yeah, I
was down the street on a telephoto lens.
Yep.
It was a lot.
So it was a lot. We employed all the different little styles, and I think what made it successful was probably just the quantity of stuff we got.
Yeah.
We got a lot.
Now, Mark, you've been editing it, so why don't you talk a little bit about maybe your perspective on what we shot from that angle?
Yeah, it was really cool to be there and help shoot it and get some of these shots, but like getting it into the editing suite there and looking at it and putting it together has been a whole nother thing. Like just seeing it on the screen and in the edit has been kind of mind blowing. It's like, did we really shoot that? Did we get that? Like some of that slow motion stuff looks really good. And it's been really fun, trying to find the right track to use and make it pop. But you can really see like the athleticism that these athletes have. And, they do it every day. They travel and do it, compete. But it has been really cool to see the stuff that we've shot, put together into an edit and make their moves flow together in one motion as they see them as they're doing it. And we're able to capture that, I think, really well.
Yeah. What would you say, Josh, was your favorite part of the shooting?
Oh man, that's tough. It's just different. Like it's not something that we do every day, So this was just but this is like the kind of stuff that we really enjoy doing for sure, is like the action type stuff. So it's cool to be there and watch these guys just do things that like most people don't even think twice about trying. Like you said, those slow-mo shots were awesome. I mean, seeing Jason run around and chasing these guys, I mean,
Keep up with them too.
Like you've got those parkour dudes are doing a bunch of stuff, but like being able to run behind them with a camera and not trip and fall on your face.
I pulled a hamstring.
Yeah, I mean, like
I think we have some BTS.
It's pretty magical that like that was the only thing that happened, if anything, because like there were a couple times we'd look over and like we're standing back there shooting, but Jason's like sprinting after these guys with a gimbal, trying to make sure that he's still got them in frame, but also like avoiding all the obstacles that they're jumping over. So that was pretty cool to see as well, because I think a lot of times even the parkour guys were saying, we do all these cool things, but people don't really give enough credit to the cameramen because they're the ones that are doing that and more, so.
There was a few scary moments in there. I'm really notorious for like getting set on the screen and like I want the shot so bad that I may totally disregard where my feet are. And I never wiped out, but there was a couple times where we were like high on stuff or running on concrete and then the concrete was curving and I was looking at the screen and it was important to not like back up sideways and like go off of ledges and stuff. But yeah, I will say I was really thankful when day 2 was over because I was like, wow, like they didn't get injured. We didn't get injured. Nobody got arrested.
Yeah.
So now we have, I'm sure by the time this is edited, we will have already shot what we are shooting in a couple days from now.
Yeah. Sunday.
But yeah, next on the list is Las Vegas. So we're going to Vegas. We're going to shoot the whole thing. And like I said, it'll be shot by the time this is being listened to. So I don't know how to speak about it in the future, but I'm excited. Maybe we'll cut some phone footage in to this podcast.
I think that could be a thing for sure. Yeah.
Finish it on the road.
It'll be cool. I mean, like one of the things that we were trying to do in Denver was create the illusion that we're in Vegas still.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be cool to actually get to Vegas and see how well we did.
Yeah.
Cause I mean, different infrastructures, but being able to find stuff in Denver that kind of screams Vegas. So it'll be cool.
we did try to kind of shoot in a way that was ambiguous. And, sometimes you're specifically trying to show the locations you're in. This one, we were specifically trying to not show the location we were in. So I think people that live in Denver, when they see the footage, they'll probably know it's Denver. But And I'll always know it's Denver.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot of things I'll see from grass to, evergreens and things like that I'll be like, wait a second, that's not Vegas. But at the same time, I think with just like the action movie vibe and it's somewhat just being ambiguous, it just being like guys doing parkour and jumping all over the place and then shebang, they all meet up and they're in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
It'll work fine. It'll be 60 seconds. I think it'll be great.
Yeah.
So
I'm
really excited to see where it comes along. So
for sure.
All right, well, that brings us to a close on this episode of Retrospec from the Archives. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you found some of this interesting and liked some of the footage. We've surely enjoyed working with Rollo. It's been a blast, and we're so excited to see some of these things go out there and hopefully tell their story to more people in the world. So we'll catch you next time.
Cool. See you later.
Adios.
Peace.